Alright, this is the Pawn Sacrifice channel, and this is part 15 of the 924S turbo build. And this week we've got a bit more fabrication on our hands, and well, based on previous one, who knows where that's going to take us. Anyway, the subject this week is the intercooler. So I've got that. It's quite small, but I'm being limited by the space that I've got within the frame rails, and if I was a bit more confident, I'd possibly look at chopping things off and maybe tubing the front or something like that, but my skills aren't there yet, so I'm going to go with where I am. The other bit that I've got is the radiator, and again I need to hope that this is going to fit. To be honest, I did buy these before, so I sort of measured up and then thought, okay, outside of the radiator enclosure, I basically bought them too big and too long ago to return them, so I'm going to now need to sell those. But okay, as you can probably tell by the lack of clothing continuity, something's not quite right. And the thing that's not quite right is that this isn't going to be a video about the intercooler and the radiator. The reason for that is I've got most of the way through the intercooler bit of it, and it's long enough for its own video, although a bit shorter than some of the others. It's taken a long time to edit. I think the radiator part's going to take even longer to edit. Spoiler, that does work. But yeah, so I'm just going to cut this into two separate ones. So forget what you've just heard, nonsense, don't know what I was thinking. This is just going to be about the intercooler, and I probably need to re-record the end, so I'll see in about 10-15 minutes. I don't know how long this is going to be, but anyway, I'll let you get back to it. Okay, so after the problems that I had with the previous parts that I bought, I thought I'd actually share the discovery on this. Actually, I'll leave the bugger up on there, but it's I believe, bar and plate, or it should be a bar and plate design. I wouldn't know what was bar and plate and what wasn't to look at it. And yeah, it's got the in and out on here is 2.5 inches, and then what I'll do is on the so it'll come in at 2.5, and then what I'll probably do is take gonna step up and take that up to 3 to go up to the throttle body on that. So yep, moment of truth time. Let's see how well this fits inside the old radiator bay. Right, so ignoring the fact that this looks a complete mess, there's a nice size hole. The grill normally goes across there, and for this, see straight away that the size is fine, and actually I'm glad I didn't get anything too much bigger. So what I'm going to have to do is obviously modify this section here, and when I say modify, I mean chop it to bits and then remake some sort of brackets to reinforce everything, and from there I can then obviously, when it's done, bring the piping up and around on both sides, so turbo and up to the throttle body. When this is done, then I'll get on to looking at mounting the radiator, but hopefully there's going to be plenty of room for that as well. I think the engine stops about here somewhere, so I've got loads of space to play with. Okay, I've gathered my thoughts. Right, so the mounting point is just under here, so I think I'm going to have a bracket or something which will come off of the side piece and just extend that out. So that's just an L shape which is suspended from there. Where I'm going to be cutting that, I'm going to be removing some of the strength from it, so I'm going to have to put something else on there to help support it. And what I will do then is similar to this, I'll just make up an L-shaped type thing once the bottom's in, and in position, and just have something that comes that I can just weld on here, which will then come across on either side and then just hold that in place. So that's the plan. As always, it sounds fairly simple, but let's see if we can get the execution going a little better than it has done previously. Having thought about this, I think the easiest thing to do, or the best thing to do, is to actually remove the front valance. I don't know how much of a problem this is going to be, but yeah, I'll take that off now. It just gives me better access for welding and whatnot. Right, trying to do this doing sums and it's going a bit wrong, so let me just have a look. So fit like that. Right, I've got my finished piece, and it's not pretty and it's not quite straight, and bending these bits, just having the vise to use was a real pain. And I've also realised now that I've seen it together, I've really have done this the hard way. So what I should have done is just had a long strip and then bent the sides over. So I'm going to start again and do it that way, because I think that will be a lot cleaner. And when I've done the side bits, when I've got the bend, basically I'm going to just work out where I need to fold it and then just cut it, just nick it, fold it to where the vise is, and then probably just put a little weld in there to bring that back together again, just because bending it as one piece is incredibly problematic. It's amazing how things work better when you use your brain. So that's a lot neater than the way the other solution was going. I mean, that thing weighs next to nothing, so this is going to be very over-engineered. I think before I start welding anything up or finishing these off, I will get the car modified where I need it and just check and see if I need to do anything else here before I then weld these in, and then it's going to be about back to front, but once they're in I'll then work out where I need to then cut everything out and then just join everything up together nice and neatly. So let's do some more destruction of the car. So there were no major disasters there. This is actually so strong, I don't think I'm going to bother with those little corner pieces that I cut out to go on here, especially given the weight of what it's going to be holding. So now I am going to just work out what I need to grind back on the bits on the car. Okay, so now this is all nicely prepared and that's fitting neatly into there, almost. It's time to get that welded through. Okay, so I've put in the sort of pointed bolts that I use to get the position for the engine mounts. So that's, yeah, I mean that's, in terms of security, that is, in that, putting quite a lot of weight on it, that's fine. So I need something now to go across the top. Slight change of plan. That's there. Make the tab slightly bigger and then just weld those on. Ow. So I'm actually going to measure this out properly to get the centre. Tabs bolted to the top of the intercooler. I just need to mark out the position on the cross member so that I can weld them into place. Right, it's going to need some tidying up on here. I'll soften those corners. I'll probably put a bit of seam sealer in just on the edges there, just to make sure there's no gaps where water can get in and stay and cause rust and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, that's not fully tightened up yet, but that's good enough. There's a bit of flex there, which isn't a bad thing. And now I need to work out where to drill this bit out. Okay, with the success, bit of personal injury getting the intercooler in. Continuity, so you know that this is the end of the original bit that I said. Anyway, intercooler's in and is mounted. There's still some work to be done on the side pieces so that I don't cut the hoses to ribbons, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Everything else is in place and it's all cool and happy with that. So yeah, so that's this video, half of what I had originally planned. The work's done, it's just the length of the videos and the time it's taking to edit. Just wanted to get this one out. So as usual, thank you very much for watching, and this is to be continued with radiator to follow.